Alright, so let's talk about Various Daylife. This game is developed by Square Enix and published by Square Enix. This was a surprise sort of game drop. One of the only ones in the Nintendo Direct for September 13th, 2022. That was a very good Direct. It was extremely dense and populated with a lot of RPGs, JRPGs, and a lot of small remasters and remakes that I love for the Nintendo Switch. This game stood out. It was just out of nowhere. They said that this is a tactical RPG, JRPG, life sim from some of the people who created Octopath Traveler and Bravely Defaults. Just looking at the style of it and seeing screenshots of you walking around, choosing lots of different tasks to do to level up your character, and then showing off the turn-based battles, it looked like it was right up my alley. So to my surprise, very pleasantly surprised, they dropped it today, said it was ready to go. So I downloaded it on Switch. However, I found out that it also came out on Steam, so you can play it on there. So I'm going to go over the story, some of the gameplay, and then I'm going to give you my final thoughts and if I ultimately recommend the game or not, because I will say there is a lot of things that people need to know about this game for sure. So let's jump on into the story. This game takes place in a nice little fantasy medieval world where it's humans trying to survive. You are part of a colony who is trying to expand. You are the 7th generation of workers who want to colonize a new area. So you jump in this new town that is kind of protected, but then the whole goal of the game is to expand out and defeat lots of goblins, minions, gigantic rock monsters, etc. So the whole game is just expanding, but then ultimately seeing what's out there, what's going on, what are these ruins of the past that you are seeing. Now in this world, all the colonists are expected to help out in some way. You either pick up a day job, pick up the slack, either doing hunting, fishing, selling things, but here the big main job that people want you to do is go expedition. So that's the story. The gameplay loop goes like this. At the moment of how much I've played, I would have to say the game is around 70% leveling up and managing yourself in the town, and 30% actually going on expeditions and fighting. Now, that might sound a little weird, and yeah, it kind of is, but that's just how the game is. I'll let you know the final thoughts at the end, but let's go ahead and talk about a little bit of the combat system first, and then we'll go into the life sim stuff. So, the combat works like this. You are going to be tasked throughout the whole game on different expeditions. Now these are quests that you can pretty much take up anytime you're ready to go, so there's no difficulty setting. It's just go on these quests when you want to go. So you can farm as much as you want and play the game and then make it a little bit easier for yourself, or you can go in on the recommended level and just go and have a nice challenge and have fun. I've been doing it that way, and I have to say the difficulty curve is just right if you do the recommended, maybe one level above. So like I said, you go on that quest, you get to choose between 1 to 4 players to take with you. These are NPCs that you're going to be hanging out and finding and recruiting throughout the game. These are just town folks just like yourself. They all have jobs, like basic jobs, like, oh yeah, you can have someone who knows magic, but their main job is a secretary. You can have someone who likes to steal money like a thief, but oh, this character is a waitress, that sort of thing. So you're going to be taking some of their jobs for yourself. There's around 15 or so jobs, at least according to the Steam page. I'm not really done with the game yet, but basically 15 or so quests, and you're going to be going in and doing these quests. Now, as you start the quest, this can be as simple as get to the very end of the area, or kill a certain monster, or maybe get an item or so. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be preparing, because this thing could, the campaign could take over a couple of in-game days. So you have to bring food with you. You have to bring lots of different items to prep, and then you just go and do your quests. So the game auto moves you along. So you can sit there at 1x speed or 2x speed. You can also change the speed for the battles, and basically you walk. It's going to go daytime, you walk through a nice little biome depending on where you are, and then you're going to see a nice percentage bar go up. That is the percentage of how far the level is. At the end of it, you can maybe fight a boss fight, etc. So you're going to be walking, and then you can randomly go into a battle. So this is between you and a lot of enemies. What's going to happen is you're going to be taking turns depending on your initiative, which is your agility stat here. And you're going to be just, taking turns fighting. Think of it like Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy turn-based combat, where you have simple options: attack, defend, items, special moves, or your skills. Now in this game, they have a little bit of a gimmick. Besides, you can do all that stuff. You've seen it in a million games. Oh yeah, I can use thunder against this enemy. I can debuff this enemy, blah, blah, blah. In this game, they want you to really prioritize to maximize your damage. The 3 chas in this game. So it basically change, chain, and chance. It's a little gimmicky, but this is how it works. Every class in the game has some sort of skill where they can activate to change the enemy. It's not a fancy, it's pretty much a different way of saying putting debuffs on them. So you can throw water on them to douse them. Now dousing them alone gives them a little bit of a slow already, and that changes them. You can chain it by trying to inflict even more debuffs. So you can go ahead and, let's say, hit an enemy with a melee attack that stuns them. So now they are watered up for 1 chain. You hit them again, stunning them for 2 chains. And then if you have a specific sort of skill in your party, if he's watered up, you want to hit them with thunder, so it activates all the chains at once. So the last thing is called a chance. Using your chance with all of the chains from your change, you are activating it and you're doing massive damage. So that's what you want to do. That's the gimmick. So you want to try to compose different parties to change, and then ultimately attack. You don't have to do it, but it's insane massive damage. So that's pretty much battles. You go back and forth. You guys can die. If you do die, you pretty much lose the quest and you got to start over, that sort of thing. But that's pretty much the battles. Now, time for the bulk of the game. And yeah, some people might be a little turned off that I say upcoming here is the bulk of the game, but this is, it's called the Various Daylife. So how it works is you are going to be spending lots and lots and lots of in-game days doing lots of random things. All of these things do have a sort of goal though. Primarily, it is to level up your character in lots of different ways. Now, as you play the game, you're going to be unlocking lots of different classes, warriors, mages, that sorts of things. And essentially, you're going to want to level up your classes' stats. So you can level up your basic base stat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way, whatever. And that increases all of your stats a little bit. However, if you change to a different class, you have more stat affinity to that one. And then you can permanently increase that via increasing the stat ranks. So how do you do that? You just do lots of things in town. Now, I'm going to go over a couple of them. I'm letting you know there's a lot of different things to do, a lot. But here's a couple. So you can do lots of different work. You can, as a scholar class, the mage class, or the secretary rather, you can go do paperwork for your governments. You can proofread things. You can fill out paperwork. You can go waitressing. You can go work the cashier. You can go be a greeter. You can go hunt wolves, hunt boars. You can go to the church and help people out by talking to them, that sort of thing. There's a lot of things you can do, and a lot of the work you get is kind of based on the classes you unlock. So if you want, you can do all that stuff, and it takes 1 in-game day, and it tells you, according to the screenshots and the videos you're seeing here, what stats go up. So if you do a lot of secretary work, your intelligence, wisdom will go up. However, maybe your HP will go down, your strength will go down, which makes it terrible if you want to be a warrior class. If you want to be a warrior, go do more of the physical stuff, obviously. So besides the basic work stuff, and that gives you a lot of money, you can go do a lot of stuff in town as well. You can go to the spa and you can go rest up there. It spends a little bit of money, it recovers your stamina, increases your mood, and it also gives you some sort of tips to talk to people around the world. You can go to the local shops to go buy new equipments, armors, consumables, and yeah, you can put them on specific to your class. You can go buy food for the expeditions you go on. And there's a lot of extra other things as well, such as going to, what are they called? The bakeries. You can go to the coffee shops, the ports, and you can buy food there. And a lot of these are special little events where you can click on it and then, wow, it gives you like 500 extra in your HP stat or something crazy like that. So all of the different sorts of things you choose to do will affect how your character is rounded out. Now, at the moment, I'm trying my hardest to be a mage class, so I'm just doing as many mage things as I can. It's lowering down my HP, but you kind of have to round it out in terms of getting money and stuff like that. Another big thing in town is your party members. You're going to be unlocking more as you play the game, just through quests and through the main story. Now, you have to, they're going to be with you, but they don't level up like you do. You level up by doing tasks. To level them up, you have to spend money. So you just level them up, and then it just, it goes level, one rank up at a time. So you have to level them all up individually depending on who you want. Once you unlock the class, you don't unlock all the skills right away. You have to continue doing their everyday work, and then you will start to unlock stuff like, okay, I'm now a secretary. I don't have a skill yet. I'll do the paperwork. Oh, I unlocked fire magic. I unlocked thunder magic, that sort of thing. Whew. Okay. So basically, after all that is said and done, 70% of that is leveling up your character, walking around, managing your money, leveling up, and then going on expedition when you're ready. And that's the game. That is the game. Okay, so let's talk about the pros and cons, my final thoughts. First of all, I know, maybe you might not know this, but this game originally came out in 2019. This was, I believe, it was an Apple Games exclusive subscription game for $4.99. And that's the reason, I think, why it was such a big random drop. I've never heard about this title. This feels like something that they would kind of push beforehand. But no, the Steam page went live as soon as they, announced it. And the Switch page, you can just download it right away. So this game was originally a mobile game. And it kind of shows, for sure. Some of the UI I wish was way more intuitive. And I say intuitive, just way more detailed. For example, there's not a really good priority list of who's going up next in terms of like how many enemies are going before you're going, so you can strategically take the ones out who are coming up next, that sort of thing. I had to go online and look up every single stat and what they do. It's not that complicated, but I would like to know what they do. I couldn't find anything in the game about that, so I had to go online. Yeah, the UI is just not amazing, and that is partially because it's a mobile game. I have not looked at the previous footage of that game, the 2019 game, so I don't know exactly how much has changed since then. But yeah, just so you guys know, it was a mobile game. That was $4.99 on a subscription service. Now, is it worth the current price that they're selling it at? $29.99? Man, no, absolutely 100% not. There are so many amazing games you can play for $30. At the most, this game, $10 to $15. I would say if you like what you heard, like what you see, get the game on a sale. $10 to $15 for sure. I will have you know, the first couple of hours in this game, very, very slow. Lots of talking, lots of tutorials, lots of building up your characters, unlocking things. But once you start getting into those, those fun expeditions, those long battles, that's when it starts to shine. And like I mentioned, there's no difficulty setting. You can go into that expedition whenever you're ready. You can spend hours and hours if you want, leveling up your characters, making sure everyone is like meted up, a-okay, ready to fight, or going, as a challenge. But I was talking to people during the stream, and we were saying like, even though it's a weird that you can do that's basically like every JRPG out there, Oh, I'm gonna go fight the final boss. No, I'm gonna go back to like this level over here, and I'm gonna grind this level because there's high level enemies. It's kind of like that, but in this way, it's much more casual, So it's automated walking, but the battle system is turn-based, which is nice. And instead of grinding out in battles, you're just grinding out the everyday life, learning about the character's lore, and just unlocking new weapons and stuff like that. So I really did not like the game when I first got it. I played for a couple hours. I was dreading it. But as soon as things started to pick up and started rolling, I appreciated the game for what it was. It started working, and it really grew on me. It really did grow on me. So I'm gonna keep playing it. I really like it a lot. Really quick, a big spoiler here. If you don't want to hear how long to beat, you can skip a couple seconds. I went on howlongtobeat.com. One guy pulled it, so take that with a grain of salt. But they said 29 hours. Wow, that's a lot, right? That is a lot for this type of game. But you know, it was fun. We had a lot of people hanging out, watching, and they seemed pretty entertained by this. I think it's because it's a very chill game. People were saying that they wanted to pick it up, and I was actually very, very surprised because the game didn't feel that fun at first. But when people were starting to get into it, like, oh, what can you do? Can you do this? Well, I'm gonna make my character this way. Blah blah blah. Man, I think there is an audience for this. So if you like what you see, pick it up on a sale. I don't think it's worth $30 for sure. No. 10 to 15 is what I would rate this at. But I would say, yeah, it's a game. I would play this, and I do recommend it for that price. So I did not mention everything in the game. You guys might have some extra questions or opinions on yourself. So please let me know down below. Are you picking this up? Is there anything else you want to know? Maybe you are one of those very rare ones who have heard about the game, played it in 2019. Let us know your guys' opinions down below. But at the moment, the Steam reviews are mixed, unfortunately. But I think a lot of people need to get over the first initial hurdle, and then they could understand the whole gameplay loop. 70% managing, 30% battles. But once you get everything picked up and start rolling, it's fun. So if you guys enjoyed, leave a like. It helps a lot. If you haven't already subbed for daily videos, if you are interested in seeing my full Let's Play that I am doing about this game, Various Daylife, there's a link down below to my Let's Play channel. You can check it all out there, and come by Twitch. I'm sure we'll be streaming a ton of it on there as well. So yeah, this was a very interesting game. Came out of nowhere. I did not know that I would be playing this today, but yeah, the random drop, huh? Well, I mean, it is what it is. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.